Oh, interesting.
Sort of. Like,
Okay, this week with Reels in the Round, I See Dead People. We watched The Sixth Sense. Here we are. I am Kirk. This is Ronan, and again our special guest, Sasminda the Wonderful.
Wonderful.
My daughter Salem. Hi.
Hi.
Cool. So, this movie, jumping right in, I will say, might be one of the first, we've watched like Bullet and a few things, but this might be the first, honest to goodness, true holy crap classic. And I mean, it's not even classic. It came out in 2000 or something, but 99.
Yep.
Still before I was alive.
Either of you.
Yes.
Either of you. I saw it in theaters, but whatever,
So
we don't need to start the old jokes this early. I'm saying this movie, I think, is the first that we've watched that's on the AFI Top 100 list. American Film Academy.
I think so.
I think I could be wrong, but I don't think Llamageddon or any of the other movies.
I'm sorry, there's a movie called Llamageddon.
Yes.
That
sure
sounds
there's-
worse than Sharknado.
Okay, first off, watch your mouth. The Sharknado will be on this
beautiful
list
movie.
one day.
Yes.
I remember my wife was out somewhere one day and I had my kids watch Sharknado. And when she got home, she's like, why? I was like, just cultural education. It's terrible. But
It's still a movie you have to watch at some
there's
point.
4 of them. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry, there's 4 of
Yeah.
them.
Yes.
when you get the recipe right, man, just keep making that. When you figure out the perfect blintz, you don't just make it once and say oh, that was good, I'm done. You keep making it.
Since when was it good? If you make a recipe like that, you push it off a cliff.
Can't argue with that. That was just true, really.
I mean, I was gonna say everyone has those guilty pleasures,
Mine's Anchorman.
Okay.
Anchorman?
Anchorman, I will acknowledge that it's a good movie. It's so bad. It's so bad. But I love the absurdity of Anchorman. And no matter how many people say, what are you talking about? It's a great movie. No, it's garbage, but I love it so much.
That's another movie that I have not watched. But when I was talking about one of the shows that I'm watching on Apple TV, my dad was like, "Oh, that sounds a lot like Anchorman."
What was the show?
Ted Lasso.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So there is a level of sophistication difference. Anchorman is a full order of magnitude, just goofier and baser. It's a more whereas Ted Lasso, there's some real sophistication to it.
Okay.
Are you on season 1 or 2?
2.
2. Okay. Season 1, I think one of my favorite moments in recent TV history is the dart scene. Where he's throwing he's like, I love questions.
Yeah.
I love them. I love to ask questions. And, before someone challenged me to a dart competition, I'd like to ask them a question like, hey, Ted, play many darts?
Yeah.
And he's like, and I'd say, yes, every Saturday with my father. That scene is just scrumptious.
Scrumptious?
It's scrumptious. Scrumdiddlyumptious even. Hashtag parenting.
I'm not even going to question that.
I think you just did.
Yeah.
So it's not COVID. Let's talk The Sixth Sense.
Yes.
You had seen this one before,
Correct.
but didn't remember it real well.
No.
So thoughts?
Well, I think you'll not correct me. I think you'll agree with me in the fact this is a horror movie.
It's definitely a thriller. It's
Yeah.
definitely exactly. It's not
But there's two different you can split the genre in two.
Absolutely.
Of horror movies.
More scary than sad.
You mean
I
more
meant
sad?
more
I was about to say that's not what you said 5 minutes ago. Yeah. Okay.
Way more sad than scary.
Yeah, it's fine.
But this movie would fall under the cinematic horror,
Absolutely. This was not a
Yes.
schlock horror. This was not absolutely
the Run and Gun,
No.
Blair Witch Project, or
right. No, and so
one of those.
I like that. I like that
Mhm.
distinction. I will say that there really is a distinction between a thriller and a horror.
That is
And
true.
this is definitely suspenseful, and this is definitely thrilling, and
It's
there
also kind of like a mystery.
and yeah, there's definitely some. We were talking right before going on about how this movie by no means invented the twist ending. I mean, Usual Suspects did it a few years earlier.
Yep.
Yeah, the twist ending was absolutely not established by this film. However, this movie, when it came out, was on a class of its own, of just like, it really did throw people for an absolute loop. This movie was talked about. It became a real meme. It became a trope of just the whole I see dead people and the, oh my gosh, did you know? Oh my gosh, he was dead the whole time. Spoilers, it's 20 years later. No, it is an amazing movie. And like M. Night has truly fallen from grace because he sucks now. Like, but his first few films, this being kind of the first, are truly good movies. Truly good movies.
And although what you said, although it may not be like all, one of the new movies of his that he produced,
sure,
I actually kind of liked.
Which one?
The Visit.
I don't know that I've seen that one.
It's when it's like the teenager and slightly younger son went to their grandparents' house.
Is that an M. Night Shyamalan? Is that
he was the producer.
He was okay. So
no. Actually, he was the director and writer of it.
Interesting. Okay, so Lady in the Water is garbage on cinema. Signs is garbage. The Visit, haven't seen. Unbreakable is perfection. Glass is fine. Wayward Pines, I will say, suffered from what I like to call JJ syndrome, which is to say, so JJ Abrams, he did a lot of shows, and now he does movies and stuff. But for a very long time, if a JJ show started, you knew that the first half of the first season, or even the first season, was going to be perfect. And then after that, it would just turn to crap. Wayward Pines season 1 was perfect.
Phenomenal. Yes.
Wayward Pines season 2, you're like, what just happened? Like, where did all the talent go?
That
like,
is very true.
Like you had done such good things, and then I'm now sad. Why am I'm sad now? Yeah, Wayward Pines. I loved season 1 though.
So did I.
Unbreakable might be on my top 5 movies of all time.
Well, if it's perfection, then why is it broken?
It isn't. It's unbreakable.
No, that's fair.
Unbreakable. Also,
I see where you're going.
Yeah.
I see where you're going.
No, it's truly good. It's Bruce Willis again, Samuel L. Jackson. We're watching it next week, but it's one of my all-time favorite films.
But no, The Visit you should watch.
No, I've seen scenes from The Visit, and I should check it out. No, the scenes I saw were thrilling. So
you should go into the oven to go and clean it.
Yeah, no, that's one of the scenes I've seen.
It was in the trailer, I do believe.
That it was, in fact, yes.
Yes.
So Bruce Willis. Okay, let's see here. You know, partial credit. Die Hard, absolutely. Pulp Fiction, absolutely. Moonlighting, I mean, you're not wrong.
The only thing I recognize from this list is Die Hard.
Pulp Fiction's pretty awesome. Toni Collette, let's see. About a Boy, good call. Heredity, good call. Yeah, you know what? Full marks on Toni Collette.
Is another good movie that I watched too.
Yeah. So Toni Collette, full marks. Haley Joel Osment, AI, pay it forward. Second, full marks on Haley Joel Osment. You really could have gone off the deep end there, like with Entourage or something. But no, the full marks on Haley Joel Osment and Olivia Williams, The Ghostwriter, and Education, and Rushmore. And we're back to no. She's done so like The Ghostwriter. I only know that as the PBS show. An Education I've never heard of, and then Rushmore, good call. Okay. But yeah, this was a super awesome cast. It was a great cast. Mm-hmm. They all crushed it. I mean, Toni Collette, like, I don't think there was a role in this that was done. I mean, even if you want to go so far as to talk about like Stuttering Stanley, the teacher, like I think every person in this movie really was brilliantly cast. Yes. M. Night really did start strong with his career, and then
because this is one of his first ones, right?
This was his first real movie. Like he had done a couple of shorts and like a student film before this, but this was his first like real movie. And then like his follow-up movie was Unbreakable, and third movie was Signs, and fourth movie was The Village, and then fifth movie was Lady in the Water, and then we don't talk about him after that. Like after
what The Visit?
Lady in the Water is like a mermaid movie if mermaid movies were really stupid.
They're all really stupid.
Right. So imagine how stupid it has to be for me to say that. And you know, being my daughter, how many mermaid movies I have been forced to endure.
Like Scales.
All of them.
Mermaids.
The answer is all of them. I have seen all of them. If it has mermaids, I have seen it.
I'm pretty sure there's like some like Prime special like horror mermaid movie that you probably haven't seen.
I doubt it. If it has mermaids,
you've seen it.
I have seen it. And Lady in the Water is we don't talk about it.
Oh jeez.
I remember that like when me and Piper would like watch a lot of mermaid movies, the one pet peeve that we would have is that the way the tails would move, because it would be really weird because you could see the fact that they were legs. And I remember that.
Yeah.
Really big pet peeve.
So I made a mermaid movie 20 years ago.
Wow,
and
that's surprising.
yeah, no.
Have you seen it?
No.
I've never shown her fish and chip. No. I probably should. She's old enough now to see the sick sense of humor I had.
Oh, jeez.
So, you know, I for a while in LA, kind of my thing was I did underwater films. And so I had an underwater rig. And so this guy, I was at the Cannes Film Festival and I was showing a piece I had done of an underwater dance film. Okay. And he loved it. And he came to me and he's like, you know, where do you live? And I was like, well, I live in the Valley, you know, San Fernando Valley. And he's like, so do I. And I was like, he's like, where did you shoot that? I was like, backyard swimming pool. So it was not an impressive, like, it was just a backyard. He's like, I have a pool. I'm like, okay. He's like, what do I have to do to get you to come shoot something in my pool? I was like, pay for it. Like,
fair enough. Yeah.
Like, I'll help you do everything, but I'm not spending a penny. And he's like, done. And so we decided to do Mermaids, and we found the guy that had made the tales for Splash and a bunch of the other famous mermaid movies. And he'd done the tales for The Charmed and we went and we drove a couple hours to go pick them up. And we rented these like $10,000 each tales. And it took a near act of Congress to get the women into them, because they were really, they weren't like spandex pull on. They were very well made prosthetics. And so it took some manpower and lubrication to get these women into these tales. And we spent 3 days underwater shooting this film about beautiful, majestic mermaids that in the end get spearfished by a dude named Chip. And so the last shot is him. We found, driving the streets of LA, we found this old beat up pickup truck, which you don't see in LA, like this old Alabama beat up pickup truck. We went and knocked on the door and we're like, we will give you $500 if we can borrow that for a weekend. They're like, okay. So we made it a fake license plate from Louisiana and put Chip on it. And we put like a Bush bumper stickers on it. And we put like, cause it's like 2005 or 6.
Okay.
We made it like just the most, put an NRA sticker on it, and we made it this big thing. And we literally, the last shot was one of our actresses getting pulled tail first into the bed of a pickup truck, like out with a javelin, like a big bloody side, and this guy like, you know, closing up, and this like redneck fisherman driving away, having spearfished a mermaid. That was the short. I thought it was hysterical. But
sounds like you traumatized teenagers.
More little girls. But no, it was really fun. It was one of several underwater films I did that was last. Like,
I mean, I feel like instead of just having him silent at the end, you should have had him say like, now it's time for me to have some fish and chips.
No, because it was already, like, the joke was there already. Yeah, the movie was called Fish and Chip, and there was no dialogue in the entire film because it was underwater and beautiful shots. Yeah. And then we shot out in Malibu. Him like dragging her out of the water and everything. It was funny.
I remember once me and Piper were watching this one movie. I can't remember what it was called, but it was like something along the lines of like The Three Tales or.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
It was an Australian like made like micro budget film.
Hey, I know the person who made those tales.
Yeah, there's a very to this day there's a very distinct look to them. So I mean, they're very good. There's a very, very distinct look. So if I'm watching a movie or a commercial or something where there's a mermaid, and I'll be like, hey, I know the guy that made that.
Same person.
Oh yeah, no, and I'll check their credits, and it has a very, very distinct look, and I know what it looks like. So yeah, so mermaids, man.
Well, now we talked about mermaids.
Yeah, back on topic.
Yeah, Sixth Sense.
Sixth Sense. So one of the things
From ghosts?
I don't even know. I'm your father, and you still ask these questions.
It's like we need to get that tangent button.
The tangent button.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite things about M. Night, and we talked about this kind of during the film, as I didn't give a spoiler, but I gave you guys a thing to pay attention to, is he's very big on color theory. And this movie is really amazing in the way that it uses color, specifically the color red. This film is marked. This film is marked by its bland colors. Like, it's so earth tones and drabs, browns, and yellows, and not like yellow, but like mustard, like not yellow, but like dirty, gross yellow. Leslie Weplow would like us to say that there were no mermaids in The Sixth Sense, but there was in Lady in the Water. Pay attention.
I mean, there could be some dead mermaids.
There could be. Like, seriously, that's in the sequel.
Yeah.
Sixth Sense 2. Haley goes fishing.
There's a Sixth Sense too.
There is not.
No.
Okay. I was getting worried for a second.
But
Would it be called the Seventh Sense?
oh my gosh,
Or the Second Sense.
I think that's touch.
Yes.
But so
I mean, is there an order to?
Well, first off, the 5 senses are complete garbage anyway. Like, people have like 12 senses. The 5 senses are truly not a thing. But red in this is, as we were talking, it's all red for Bruce Willis is a barrier, and all red for Haley Joel Osment is a path.
Pathway.
So, like, the balloon goes up the stairs. He walks up the red wearing the red sweater. He walks up the red stairs. He gets to the reddish brown door, and or the little girl that's vomiting, he's under a red blanket, and she comes through the red blanket. Like, red is a doorway or a pathway or a guide for Haley Joel Osment, but for the same reason it guides the person that can walk amongst this world, it's a barrier for Bruce Willis, who, again, spoiler alert, is dead.
Yep.
He can't get his office door open, and you find out at the end because there's a table in front of it, but he just doesn't see that. He can't get through the red. And there's a few times that red proves to be kind of a barrier. He's trying to talk to his wife as she's in a red jacket, and she doesn't hear him. Red is a barrier for him, but a path for Haley Joel Osment. And it's a really, really fascinating and interesting use of colors. Yeah. Leslie again says, it's the path that he can't take. It's Haley Joel Osment. He's perfectly, like, he follows the breadcrumbs of red, but because Bruce Willis doesn't see that he's dead, he can't follow those paths.
Yeah.
And it's such a really cool use of color.
Yes.
Again, we're going to talk next week. Unbreakable dials that to 14. On a 1 to 10 scale. Unbreakable does things with color that are just, and black and white scales, and blacks and purples, greens and yellows, and yeah, I can and have write papers on the color usage in Unbreakable.
I thought it was really interesting that Connor's mom was still wearing her wedding ring.
Yeah, you pointed that out, and in all the times I've seen this, I don't know that I've noticed that before. Like, because his dad didn't die, his dad left, and the whole thing is about this kid dealing with the trauma of that divorce.
Yep.
And she's still wearing her wedding ring, which is interesting.
It is.
Where Bruce Willis, I need to go back and watch it again now, because at the end, Olivia Williams drops the wedding ring. I want to go back and see, is Bruce Willis wearing his ring through the rest of the movie, or is he not?
Yeah.
The only time I've ever noticed him actually wearing his wedding ring was the beginning of the movie, right before he got shot.
Right. And then in the flashback at the very end. Which was a flashback to that scene.
Yeah.
But the cinematography of this, often there's a trope in first time director movies and in young director movies where they really, really, like, I used to joke around with younger directors in LA. I was like, hey, your film school is showing. Like, because they were really, really, like, laying on the nuance and the motif and
like
the
textbook,
and not even the textbook. They were, like, really just shoveling the nuance into it. Layers. They were pouring the layers into it, and they were being real film school about it. M. Night, which, again, he got a little heavy-handed later, but in this, his first, like, it was the perfect balance, because there was a lot of film school in this. There was a lot of film school, like, color balance and motif and the sound, and like, there was a lot of very heavy-handed film school ease in this film. but he did it in a way that was truly masterful, to the fact that, again, it's on the AFI Top 100 because it is truly masterfully done. Where a lot of other directors that, young, first out the gate, they try similar things, and boy, do they mess it up. One of my favorite movies to rag on that I've seen so many times I can't even count is I Know Who Killed Me. It's a what's her name? Parent Trap. Redhead.
The redhead one? The newer version of Parent
Yes.
Trap with the redhead girl.
Wow, I cannot believe I've forgotten her name. That's embarrassing.
I don't know either.
Mean Girls.
What?
She was also in Mean Girls.
I have never seen Mean Girls.
That's sad.
You're sad.
Anyway, she plays identical twins separated at birth, but this is not The Parent Trap. Okay. And the color theory in that, Lindsay Lohan, thank you. Lindsay Lohan.
Okay.
The color theory in that, like, I want to like it so much, but he's so freaking heavy-handed with it. Like, it's embarrassing. It's to the point where you're like, come on, dude, we got it. Like,
I see.
When other people that aren't me notice color theory, you've gone too far. Like, and I talked to a guy that worked on that film, and the entire film crew didn't truly thought they were being just masters of horror. They thought that they were reinventing the genre. Mm-hmm. They had no idea the schlock they were putting out, because this was their first, kind of project, and they overplayed the film school hand. And in this, he really didn't. He crushed it. He absolutely crushed it. So big fan of this movie.
Yes.
Over to you. Thoughts, comments.
Yeah, I'm also a big fan of this movie because, like I said, it kind of plays on like the cinematic horror. I want to say genre, because you can really split it into two other movies in that type of genre, like The Visit, maybe Within.
I don't know Within. I haven't seen The Visit. I'm trying to think of other movies. The Ring.
Could that be cinematic?
I think that The Ring is probably one of the better. The American. I'm sorry. I
watched The Ring thinking it would give me nightmares.
She said she wanted to watch a horror movie that would really scare her, so I had her watch The Ring. She's like, "That was lame."
Like, no, I didn't think it was lame. I thought it was a really cool, interesting story. It's just like, why would you think this would scare me?
Because it's about a little girl coming out of a television. How does that not?
And then everyone who sees the film dies.
It's so terrifying.
And then Midsommar is another one that could be like a cinematic horror.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Then we saw that one together? No, we didn't see that one. What's the one we saw with, it got totally destroyed. I would still call it cinematic. It was the Jennifer Lawrence.
With the house.
Yeah.
Crumpled.
Not Heredity.
No, it's not.
Mother.
It was Mother, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, that one would also.
That one, again, whether or not it's good is not the point. That was very much on the cinematic scale, where they were trying to be more cinematic and not just schlocky.
Yeah.
No, and I really did like that movie too. Again, that one got destroyed, got torn apart, and it kind of needed to. It had some errors and stuff, but
yeah.
Let's get into the numbers.
Okay.
So the budget was $40 million, which is pretty moderate for what it was in the time it was made. 672 million, and I'm willing to bet that that's low. I wonder when that number was taken, and if is that domestic, or is that, I'm willing to bet that over time it's made a little bit more than that.
That's still a really high number.
That's still an insane and still amazing returns, but I still bet that's low. Best horror film, Academy of Science Fancy, best performance by younger actor, Haley Joel Osment. And I will tell you, like I said this before, he is awesome in this. He's awesome in Secondhand Lions. He's awesome in AI. AI is terrible, but he's good in it. Like, he was such a brilliant pre-adolescent actor and young adolescent actor. And he's my age-ish. He's a little younger, but like his newer stuff, he's just very okay.
Bruce Willis?
No. Bruce Willis is awesome. The kid. Okay, Cole.
Yeah.
But then film is rated at 8.1, 86, and Metacritic and their bad like mood.
Just forget about that.
I would agree with that. I would call this a solid B+ movie. In the grand scheme, like I maybe even give it an A-. I mean, this movie is truly good.
Yeah.
objectively good. So those I'm interested. I think those are a little low.
Yeah, I think it's a little low too.
But yeah, and then 64 Metacritic. I swear, just like
people
like drink, just like have a nap, like
have some fun.
Call your mom, tell her you love her. It's time. Like Metacritic is just, gosh, I don't understand really.
Just go into nature, have some fun in your life.
Yeah, no.
And then talking about the awards, there were like a bunch of like nominations for Oscars and Grammys.
Yeah, no, I mean,
because of this, I think there was like 6 nominations.
Yeah, well, actually, I'm gonna look that up really fast because now I'm curious.
None of them were actually winners.
Well, an Academy Award nomination is oh yeah, so it was Academy Award for Academy Award for best actress, Academy Award for best supporting actor, Academy Award for best directing, Academy Award for best writing original screenplay, Academy Award for best film editing. Like that's insane. Yes. Like, it won none of them. I don't remember what swept that year, but clearly something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so best picture, best director, only nominated 1, 2, 3, 4. You are correct. It's 6. It was nominated for best picture. It was nominated for best director, nominated for best supporting actor, supporting actress, original screenplay, and film editing. And yeah, I'm trying to see. So M. Night was nominated twice for director and screenplay. Haley Joel Osment and Toni Collette were nominated. Wow, snub to Mr. Willis. Interesting. I mean, now I'm curious who did win that year. So this is 2000?
99.
It's 2000.
2000.
2000 Academy Awards.
We'll see if Kirk agrees or disagrees.
I'm pretty sure I agree. I'm pretty sure I know what it pretty sure I know what it was. Oh. I had forgotten this. Okay, it was American Beauty.
Okay.
And no, that movie's pretty good. That movie's pretty good. It won, and so all of those categories: Best Picture, American Beauty; Best Director, American Beauty; Best Actor, American Beauty; Best Actress, Hilary Swank, Boys Don't Cry. She earned that. Best
Screenplay was another one.
Screenplay, American Beauty.
Okay.
And yeah, so this is one of those times, like, basically everything they were nominated for, they were up against American Beauty, and that's just unfair. Like, any other year, I mean, any other year it would have done much better. Sometimes the slate is awesome, and sometimes it's a wide open field.
Considering that, like, American Beauty has so many like awards and shtick, we should probably like see that sometime.
I've seen it many times. American Beauty is quite good.
I mean,
you can't have any. You're too young. Yeah, like that. But you should check it out. It's good. It's a good film. Overall, I'm excited to watch Unbreakable with you guys next week. I think this movie. I won't be here next week. I will be in Michigan next week. So in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Or you guys can watch it without me. But yeah, I will be in Michigan next week. But it is M. Night's earlier stuff truly is good. Before, again, he lost his mind.
The Visit was good.
Again, I'll have to see it because I don't believe you.
Because I think that was 2017.
Again, I'll have to see it because I don't believe you. But overall, Sixth Sense is remarkable. Color Theory is great. Cinematic thrillers. They don't make many of. Like, usually when something goes the cinema route, they really try to go deep and important. And this was deep, but it was just psychological. It wasn't important. And Academy Award films try to be very important. And yes, you have to pronounce it that way when you're talking about important. Yeah.
Historians.
Yes, historians. Exactly.
You don't know what I'm referencing. So
oh, don't I? Hey, there's an internet audience that might have gotten it. I don't know.
I was referencing She-Ra. There's an episode like where Joy's like
that's
historians.
Right. Nice. So, I mean, anything else you want to add? Like, what did you think of like the sound, the directing, the color, anything that stood out to you?
I mean, the film editing was another one that they were nominated for.
Yeah.
Which I think it was good. There was like a few things that I was like, I'm not exactly sure if I would have done that. Like the fade to black for like 15 seconds and then it just goes on to another scene.
When did they do that?
It was twice. It was like towards the end.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I'm remembering that.
Yeah, I was like those two.
They were hard stops. They wanted to cleanse the palate.
I'm not sure if I would have done that.
Important movies start with a black screen.
That's true. It's true. What did you think, Salem? Tell me your thoughts.
I thought it was really good. Like like you said, I really like the color theory and the thing I was doing with the red and the shtick. Like,
yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, if you have nothing else, any dad jokes to impart? Anything else?
No. I mean, I didn't have any planned, but
I just assume that you are a fount of these things.
I mean, if you really wanted me to say one,
go for it.
Okay. This is just the first one that came up to my head.
Okay. What
did the robot do after he had sex?
What?
I'm terrified. Terrified. What?
Don't be terrified. Because he just nuts and bolts. Just like I will. It's been Rosen around. I've been Ronan, Kirk, Salem. Adios.
Yeah, that just happened. Bye, guys. I'm sorry.